Good morning. We begin with the explanation of the poem in the main reader, that is Rain on the Roof by Coates Kinney. This poem is all about nature, Now, if you are a nature lover and the elements of nature help you in fantasizing something or help you to soothe your mind or calm down your mind, then you would definitely relate with what the poet is trying to say in the poem. Now, to your amazement, this particular poet is a poet also, a journalist also, a lawyer also, and a politician also. So he was a man of many qualities. So one of his passions was to write poetries. So write poetry. So pieces of poetry over here, very close to the heart. Let's see in this particular poem how the element of nature, that is rain, is being discussed. In what context is the poet discussing about rain in the poem? When the sky is covered with dark clouds and it starts raining, have you ever listened to the patter of the soft rain on the roof? What thoughts flashed through your mind as you heard this melody of nature? Read the poem to find out what the poem dreamed of while listening to rain. If we see countryside houses, we have pakka houses and the roofs and the ceilings are made of cement. Okay, so when we can't hear the rain while it's hitting on the ceiling. But when you live in countrysides, you've got tiles on the roof and they are always in a slant position for the rain to not accumulate and it would drop off. So for them, it's easier to hear the patter of the rain. Now, patter of the rain is the sound of the rain. Like the word you must have heard also, pitter patter of the rain. So he is asking you, have you ever heard it? And when the sky goes totally grey and it's about to rain and it starts raining, what have you felt? When you are at totally silence, there's total silence all around, there's nobody to disturb you, and you are for yourself, and then you notice the things around in the nature, it does make a difference. Let's see what difference did it make to the poet. When the humid shadows hover all over the starry spheres. Now humid is wet, now we're talking about the clouds over here. Shadows are the darkness, a little bit of darkness what the clouds bring in. And hover over here means they appear over our head, and then where do you see them? We see them in the sky, in the starry spheres, in an area, in a circular form where the stars are there, that's the sky. And the melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears. Now, melancholy means sadness over here. Darkness is associated with sadness. Dark elements are associated with sadness, especially in the aspect of nature. So if night sets in, it's a little bit off mood, and when it's morning, it's bright and good mood. It brings warmth to you, and that all the sadness disappears. So he says, and the melancholy darkness, which is the dim light brought in by the clouds, gently weeps in raining tears. He says because the entire atmosphere is sad, the entire surrounding is sad, the rain which is coming in is actually the way it is weeping and showing its sadness. The nature is showing its sadness. That's the way he is expressing the entire scenario. What a bliss! Bliss is a state of perfect happiness. What a bliss to press the pillow of a cottage chamber bed. So a part of your cottage, a part of your house, a room in which you're lying on your bed. And in this kind of environment, you are pressing your head against the pillow and you're lying still over there, gazing at what's happening around. and lie listening to the patter or the soft rain overhead. Just lie down, do nothing, have nothing in your hands, do nothing around, just listen, concentrating on the rain's noise. What noise is it making on the roof? Now, what effect does this particular environment have in you? Let's see. So, this is the poet's experience. Every tinkle on the shingles. Now, shingles are those wooden, this thing, so the rectangular sheets, what I told you, they are placed on the roofs. And those are called shingles. And tinkle means every drop falling on it and making a sound over there. And it's a short sound and it's a continuous low ringing, low volume sound. Has an echo in the heart. Now, if the rain's patter can be heard, the echo of it can be heard in the heart of the poet. And 1,000 dreamy fancies. Now he says, dreamy fancies over here means vague imaginations. So when you're lying still, not having anything to do, what happens is your brain starts imagining things around. Imagining things around. So what kind of things? Usually your memories come back. Whatever you have gone through your life, good ones, bad ones, everything comes back to your memories. I would not say in this kind of environment the bad ones come back, the good ones only come back, refreshing all those days what you had spent earlier in a very good notion of mind. Into busy being start. So all these thoughts keep coming in your imagination and you're very busy in dreaming about all that stuff. And 1,000 recollections. So whatever you have lived, the most of it comes and as if like it is like past reliving itself in front of your eyes. Weave their air threads into woof. Now woof is actually on a loom. If you see on a hand loom, if you see a cloth being made, there are vertical pieces of threads and there are horizontal pieces of threads, and we move it on the loom and then they get attached to each other, and slowly gradually it becomes a cloth over there. Fine. So there are no air threads actually. In actuality, like in normalcy, there are no air threads. But he is actually saying, in my mind, all that imagination is coming together in the form of a woof, in the form of that thread. That those threads are the links to the memories what I have got, and I have got a total recollection in my mind. And I listen to the patter on the rain, of the rain upon the roof. So he's saying continuously, because I'm listening to that soothing sound, all this effect is coming on my mind. Now in memory comes my mother. So what's the recollection? What's the basic recollection he has? It is of his mom. As she used in years agone, in like past, long time ago, how his mother used to react to things, what all his mother used to do is what he reconciles. To regard the darling dreamers. Now, the darling dreamers over here are referred to the children. He's talking about his own mom, so his siblings. What the mom used to do to these dreamers. When do you dream? You dream at night. So we're talking about the recollection of a memory of the mom, of the poet's mom during the night, what she used to do. She left them till the dawn. Is actually a poetic language. It's the short form of before. So before she left them till the dawn means how she used to put them to sleep, and till they woke up in the morning. Like she used to take care of everything, whether they have tucked themselves in the bed or not, whether they have a sheet to drape themselves on themselves or not. How she used to look and gaze at them. Mothers usually do this when you are sleeping, and when she's lots of like she is at ease, doesn't have any tension in the mind. They do come back to check whether you're okay, and then the gaze at you, looking at you sleeping, gives them a sort of soothing effect in their heart. So he says that he remembers his mama used to do that. Or I feel her fond look on me, that loving care look, what she used to stare at me, I can still remember those eyes. As I list to this refrain, now this refrain over here means, and refrain is actually a part of a poem or a part of a song which is repeated on a loop. एक अंतरा होता है और एक मुखड़ा होता है. Antara keeps mukda keeps repeating again and again. So he says like a refrain is a part of a poem or a song which keeps continuously I repeat the same thing. But in this poem also, he has been repeating things. So it can be the poem part, it can be the song part, it can be even the rain part, that the rain is continuously repeating its sound, which is played upon the shingles, the wooden part of it, by the patter of the rain. This is how the poet expresses what he experiences with the rain. And if you truly try the same way, you will also have the same experiences, but you should be cut off from everything around you, especially your mobile, your friends, whatever thoughts. Just cut yourself off from there, and then you have that soothing effect on your mind when it comes to the nature element acting upon you. Just sit still, don't do anything. Your brain starts working its ultimate capacity at that time, and then whatever you have been through your life, good ones, the bad ones might occur to you, but the good, because the environment is soothing, it's refreshing, it will also refresh your mind. So try it once. Now, this particular poem has got many literary devices in it. Every time I teach you a poem, I teach you which literary device has been used in the poem. Now, the next lecture what I will be sending it to you will have all those literary devices along with the examples which have been used in this poem. If I continue with the same lecture, it is going to take a lot of time for me to explain, so I divided the lecture into two parts. So in the next lecture, I will be sending you the literary devices, the explanation of the literary devices which have been used in this poem. For now, you write the summary of it part-wise. You take each stanza, write the rhyme scheme of the poem, like ABCD. You were taught which particular word of line's word matches with which particular verse's last word. So you write the rhyme scheme and write each paragraph's summary. Listen to the lecture carefully and then keep reading. It will stick in your mind as to what did ma'am teach about each particular paragraph. Do that much, and in the next lecture I will be sending you the literary devices explanation, what has been used in which have been used in this particular in a poem. Thank you.